pause, put the controller down. It's time to talk about the gaming industry. My name is TJ Leo.
And I'm the Big Cheese, here to tell you that those freaky fireballs, the Samurai Pizza Cats, have a new video game after 30 years, and they didn't make me the lead character. After everything I've done for this franchise, this is an outrage. I'm gonna go call my agent right now. I want a better deal.
We have a special guest on the show today. The voiceover guy from a trailer that we're going to talk about later today. That was good. That was a good impression. That was good.
So you would think I'd spend a lot of time practicing that. No, I just thought about doing it today for the show.
I like it.
But I watched the show a lot as a kid, so the voice is stuck in my brain. It's been there for
the second you started that, I was like, I know that. Yeah. That rings a bell. Pretty funny for a show that was like, so small, so short-lived.
Yeah. Man, I had a whole thing I was going to talk about. I was going to talk about our lawn darts discussion that continued like way after we stopped recording that we totally should have recorded. And then like 24 hours ago, I saw this trailer for this game. And I was fucking flipping my shit, but we'll get to it. We
both got a trailer that flipped our shit.
Okay.
Yeah, we both did. But we'll get to that. Yeah, this is episode 33 of Press Pause, a gaming podcast. 1/3 of the way to 100. Ish. How are you, my friend?
Well, as I implied, I'm exuberant over the news. Just, dude, it's
it's a fever dream.
This is like, you could drop like Half-Life 3 and fucking the good version of Duke Nukem Forever that we now know existed on the same day, and this would still be bigger news for me.
Yeah, no, it's huge. Yeah. As soon as I saw that news, I was like, uh-oh. Someone's going to be...
I'm such a big fan.
Yeah, someone's going to be excited. No, it's an interesting week for sure. You commented on my facial hair or lack thereaf.
Yeah.
At the
Season 1 Riker.
Yeah. Season 1 Riker look. Yeah, don't like it. Don't like it at all. It is temporary. I had a ingrown hair here. Oh yeah, those are the worst. You can't get it because my beard was there for like a year or two, like so like finding that one particular spot was impossible. So I was like, you know what, this is way too painful to just leave. So I'm like, shave it off and make sure I get it.
Yeah, you gotta get like tweezers and dig into the, like, you either gotta find where it's poking out a little bit and pull it, or you gotta dig under the skin, which hurts, but it's gotta be done, or else it's just going to get infected. And
every time I like, because I do this a lot on the show, as you probably have noticed. And every time I would do that, it would like sting like real bad. So if
I ever have like a hair that I pluck out of my face and it gets infected and swells up, it's the exact same. It's just this lump that, yeah.
You couldn't really see anything because, facial hair. But it just hurt.
Yeah.
It was like that. It was like that, like a needle pin, going through your friggin' lip. So I got rid of it, and now I'm just waiting for it to all grow back so I can inevitably do it again when it happens again, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But not happy with this look. It makes me look like a fat baby. So I'm not happy about it.
Well, you had the full beard last week, and you've already got like half of it back, so.
Yeah. Well, not quite. It looks longer on screen than it is in real life. Like it's basically just like prickly.
When it gets long enough, it all looks very consistent.
Yes. Yeah. I don't know how long it'll take, but it can't get here quick enough. I hate the baby face look. Just hate it. I look too young. Talk about getting ID'd on that show.
Yeah,
one of the previous episodes, that would not help my case any. Being like this. Also, my mouth is really small. Like I have a tiny mouth, and it just makes it look. It just makes it look way smaller.
Maybe you only feel that way because I'm a big mouth.
No comment. I'll leave that up to the interpretation of the audience who's never seen you before.
No, they see me.
Well, that's true. The one episode, the extra. Yeah. That's true.
My mouth was about the only part of my face they saw for a while in that video.
Yeah, couldn't even see your forehead.
Until I eventually slouched my way down.
Yeah, and we repositioned the camera.
Yeah.
A couple of times.
Yeah, if we do that again, or I should say, when we do that again, because we do want to do that kind of stuff again.
Yeah,
we got to find a better solution than just propping up my fucking phone between like two boxes, or we were using like your laptop and something else.
I and my wallet.
Yeah, your wallet.
Yeah, it was my wallet. Yeah, I bet you $1,000 we could go to like Dollarama or like Amazon and pick up like a tripod for a cell phone.
Yeah, a cell phone tripod. Yeah,
I'm absolutely sure they exist.
Oh, they do. Yeah, they absolutely do.
Or we can buy you a pop socket, whatever they're called.
I've heard of those things. Oh yeah, one of those things.
Because then you just put it down, and although it doesn't adjust really, like it adjusts a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But to get a perfect angle, I don't know how that would work.
Yeah, my case has a kickstand on it, but it's like one angle, so.
Yeah, exactly.
Plus, we don't want to be like looking down at the camera. That's
no.
It's
head on like this.
Yeah, it's like when I shot that footage for that Victor Lucas video that never got used. I taped my phone to the fucking wall.
It looked good though.
It did look good. So
no one will ever see it, but it looked good.
Maybe that's the way to go.
Yeah. All right. Housekeeping. Nothing crazy. As a reminder, we are on Spotify. The episode last week did go up on time, so
hooray.
You can check out the audio version of the Press Pause Gaming Podcast. It's exactly the same as the video version, just with no video and no intro music because I'm too lazy to put that in there. Plus, Spotify has different rules for the copyright free music and stuff, and I'm just like,
okay.
I can't be bothered to put that much effort into an audio only version.
Yeah,
but it's up there. All right. Been playing anything this week?
Just advancing in Stalker. I was stuck on a thing for a while, and it's like a timed thing where you do a mission, and then at some point you'll get a follow-up communication from the guy, and it's like, come do another mission for me. And I was just running around doing stuff like, when's this going to happen? I looked it up. It turns out it's connected to like story mission progression. So I actually have to advance the story.
You have to story, yeah.
I was just farting around in the game world for a while, waiting to get that follow-up call. So I've just been advancing the plot.
Yeah. Cool. Still enjoying it, I assume?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
They patched it, actually.
Yeah, I remember I was about to ask that, like if there's been any significant
yes,
improvement.
They actually dropped a massive patch that has considerably changed moment-to-moment gameplay.
Well, that's good.
Like, enemies don't have near perfect accuracy anymore, which is nice.
So I might be able to play it now, and not throw my controller at the TV.
Yeah.
All right.
I was like, holy crap, they're missing me now.
Yeah.
Now, I will say, they've also readjusted the way that damage works, because one of the things about the game is that you didn't take a whole lot of damage because their accuracy was so good. But now
you would bleed every time you got shot.
Well, I mean, gotta carry
which
bandages.
Makes sense, but like it's like annoying.
You gotta carry bandages, man.
Like every time I was in an engagement, I would be bleeding and it'd be like,
it's like that early game.
Yeah, it's so annoying. Yes.
But
if they miss now, I might be able to enjoy it.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is they compensate that like almost every enemy you kill is going to be carrying a health kit or bandages. So,
that's good though.
Yeah, that's why you got to loot the corpses. But now you take more damage because they don't hit you as much. But it actually means that firefights are challenging instead of just like, I'm just going to, trade bullets back and forth until somebody stops moving. It's like, now I actually, I got to think tactically about how I'm going to move instead of just staying behind cover all the time.
Yeah.
But you also got to be careful because the bullets hurt a lot more now. There's I'm starting to see NPC interactions that I've never seen before. like I saw some guys, some friendlies getting attacked by some hostiles, like stalkers who are hostile and then stalkers who I've befriended. They're getting attacked, so I jump in and I help them out. One of the friendlies goes down, and usually when that happens, the surviving friendly stalkers, they just walk away. They just continue on their business. It's like, our buddy just dropped there, whatever. Not a big deal. But now, after this patch, I saw a guy go up to the dead body of one of his comrades and say, "Sorry, man, but you don't need it anymore," and start like rifling through his stuff.
That's better. Yeah.
Cool. So lots of little improvements like that. Like, they're basically bringing their they call it the A-life system, the artificial life system, which is what the first 3 games had. It was basically a system that would make sure that the behavior of NPCs seemed as natural as possible by kind of controlling what they did when they were out of your field of view.
Okay.
So you could actually find that because there are certain NPCs who are consistent and are not just like randomly spawned and randomly named. You could find one of those guys dead because he got into a scruff. He'd gotten attacked by something and didn't survive it. That's cool. It's not a scripted thing. It's just, it can just
dynamic.
Happen.
Yeah.
And the other thing that it did was it made sure that NPCs, whether they were other stalkers or mutants or whatever, didn't spawn right in front of you, which is something that Stalker 2 has had a little bit of an issue with.
A little bit. Even I encountered that, and I didn't play the game for very long.
Yeah. So they would always make sure to respawn, because it's like, once you've killed enough stalkers in an area, you can't just have the game empty. So after a certain amount of time passes, they would spawn new generic stalkers for you to interact with, right? But they would do that when you weren't in the area, so it didn't.
Yeah. And I was going to say, there should be like a bubble around you of like a certain amount of meters that they can't spawn in. You know?
Yeah. And now they're implementing more of that into this game, because they've said, yes, we know our A-life simulation is not up to par. We're working on it. That is coming in patches after the stability stuff. Most of the stability stuff is out. So now they're bringing the A-life system online. And it's not fully back to where it was, but it's definitely a lot better than it was when the game launched. So it's been pretty nice. Also, there has been a massive performance fix.
Nice.
So there was this, I told you about this before, how there was a bug with shader compilation after the last patch, and you had to deliberately crash the game and then get back into it. They fixed that. And the first shader compilation after the patch was long as fuck, but now, after that first compilation, now it's really fast. It used to, before they broke it, it took like 3 to 5 minutes. After they fixed it, the first compilation took like 15 to 20 minutes. Now it takes like 90 seconds to do. It loads into the game really, really fast. So overall, it's been a net benefit. I don't have to pick up my phone and start scrolling while I wait.
Yeah, I'm wondering how in sync the Xbox version is to the PC version, because there's significant differences already. Yeah, you know, because when you and I were talking, I was describing physical things in the world, and you're like, "Oh, my version doesn't have that at all."
Yeah. Actually, that reminds me,
like the foliage and stuff like that.
You remember how you said there was an instant flashlight button on the Xbox version, or rather, I should say, when you use controller, because it's in PC when you use controller. Yeah. They now have that on the keyboard.
How did that get past?
I don't know.
Quality. I don't understand.
The thing in the patch note though is that the way they phrased it, it makes it sound like the keybind was always there, but it just was invisible to the end user.
Oh.
Because I forget exactly how they phrased it, but it was something like made keyboard flashlight bind usable or something like that. Like, it just
visible.
It sounded like it was already in the code, and they fucking forgot to make it show up to the user in the settings menu.
Brutal.
Which, I mean, wouldn't surprise me.
No, this team is definitely not known for their specific polishing, per se.
Yeah, they fix it up over time.
Over time.
And again, obviously, what they've been through is unprecedented. So it's forgivable this time.
Sure.
Like it was less forgivable when their country wasn't being invaded. You know.
Speaking of that, did you see that Trump said that Ukraine started the war?
Oh God, yeah, yeah.
Oh my. Like, what do you even say to that?
Did you see Elon Musk at some like I think it was like at CPAC, the conservative conference,
what's he doing now?
He's got these big ass sunglasses on, and he is like just jibber jabber, like incoherent, like he's clearly stoned out of his fucking mind. Like there's no way that you can see it takes like 30 seconds for him to say a single thing. He's like, well, you know, it's like we got I don't but he basically talks like me, but it like cranked
10 times
by
worse.
A factor of 10. Yeah. And I'm like, this guy is fucking high. This guy is fucking in the clouds, man. And it's like
what a joke.
Like those are medical sunglasses he's wearing. Those are like for what people with dilated pupils wear after they go to an eye exam.
So he's not even hiding it. He's just like, yeah.
Well, he's trying to hide it by wearing.
But he's wearing those glasses.
But he's wearing the medical sunglasses, which just makes it more obvious.
Yeah, it feels like that's a dead giveaway. Like, why are you wearing? You've never done that before.
And like the thing is, the host or whoever that he's talking to on stage is like very clearly aware because he's trying to finish his thoughts for him.
So brutal. Like how are you not just like embarrassed to be who you are? Like,
people, when you have that much money, you have no shame.
No, it's true. Yeah, that's the basis.
Being that rich makes you crazy. It basically
until you get arrested, like P. Diddy.
No, yeah,
but then you're like, oh shit.
Yeah, but it's like it separates you from humanity. You know?
It does. Yeah.
It makes you a crazy person. It's like Mr. Burns in that, well, like Mr. Burns in general, but in that one episode where he's like paranoid of germs because they're parodying Howard Hughes. It's like, Smithers, we can take the Spruce Moose, and it's the little model plane.
Why are you so good at impressions today? What's happening?
Well, the Mr. Burns one I've spent a lot of time practicing.
Yeah.
Because I like the Mr. Burns voice.
I'm not going to try to do any impressions because I'm good at them when I'm not thinking about it.
Yeah.
The second I think about it, I sound absolutely terrible.
Thing.
Yeah. Like Jim Carrey. I do Jim Carrey all the time.
Oh.
I mean, I watched him growing up, so.
Well, yeah, we both did.
Yeah, just mimic the shit out of that. Yeah. Austin Powers movies, I can do that stuff.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. What about you? What have you been playing?
Yeah, so obviously I finished Dragon Age Veilguard. I did go back and start a second playthrough and a third playthrough just because I wanted to see the differences in the classes that we talked about last time, and yeah, they're completely different. Like it's like completely
different.
Changes
gameplay?
The dynamic of the gameplay. It's insane.
Cool.
Like when you're a warrior, which is the one I played in my first playthrough, you have like a rage meter, and the more regular attacks you do, it builds up your rage, just like a barbarian.
You spend it on attacks, I assume.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's like what you were about to say. It's like barbarian in Diablo 3.
Exactly. And
I knew because that's what I was thinking of. You didn't even have to finish that sentence.
It's exactly the way it is. It's so good.
Yep.
And then I went to the mage, and I'm like, oh, I have mana, and it spends the mana just like a mage would in Diablo, and like the
Does it take like time to recover, or do you down potions, or what?
So it kind of works like rage. So but instead of starting at 0, you start it at full. Okay. And then when you need to build it back up, your regular attacks help you regenerate it.
Oh, and that's like I believe that's how fire and ice magic works in Final Fantasy XIV, where rather than being elemental. Fire damage is full power but takes mana. Ice magic is half damage but recovers mana, which is weird, but also like I kind of get it. Yeah, like it kind of makes sense.
Yeah, it's a clever twist on the classic magic user, you know. Yeah. But yeah, you can also get gear that makes your mana regenerate faster and stuff like that, just like by default. But yeah, like and so in. When I was playing the warrior, you have a one-handed weapon and a heavy weapon, which is a two-hander that you can switch between at any time.
Okay.
I never switched to the heavy weapon. I tried it a few times, and I'm like, I'm fine with the shield and the one-handed weapon. I'm good with that.
Yeah.
And I figured that was just like a something specific to the warrior class.
Yeah.
So when I get to the mage class, I'm expecting just to have one weapon. It's like, nope. He also has an alt weapon that you can use. So you either have a staff, which is a long range pew pew, or you can switch it to a short range orb that is more powerful, but it's shorter range. So you're more of like a quick dodgy, or you can play like a sniper. Yeah, it gives you like options.
Yeah.
And then what we were talking about with the skill tree, the what did we call that before?
The sphere grid.
The sphere grid, kind of a thing. It's completely different as well.
Sure.
So you can play this game 3 times and have a completely different gameplay experience. It's amazing.
That's honestly a really good way to design it.
Yeah, and then they did the same thing.
Especially if it takes you that long to make a new game in the series.
Yeah,
give people 3 separate games to play, basically.
Yeah, each of which would take 55 hours or 50 hours ish if you do everything.
It's probably a little bit quicker once you've been through it before and you know what you're doing, but still,
that's
not
true.
short.
There's still a lot of like busy work and stuff because it's an RPG. I mean, you're still collecting chests and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Right? And then I switched to the ranger or the rogue class, and he has a similar thing where he has or she have their first weapon is 2 blades.
Okay.
So like almost they're not quite daggers. They're like short swords.
It's like Legolas. He's doing
like Legos. Exactly. So his alternate is a bow.
Yeah, of course.
So you can switch between the bow and the and man, it's just so good. It's just good.
This sounds like it would be. Well, I was going to say this sounds like it would be a good arcade game, and then I realized, just talking about Gauntlet.
It's true. Although the one thing that I actually was thinking about when I finished the game and I started playing these other classes was, holy crap, why wasn't this game co-op?
Oh,
like how amazing would that have been to have someone play?
It'd be difficult to do, but
Hey, if they could do it with Baldur's Gate 3, and do split screen on that game, then they can do it with Dragon Age. Like I would be blown away. Like the gameplay would be so good. Like it's not like there's any like slowdown, like slow motion stuff that would interfere with multiplayer or anything like that. Like it's all real time, right? So, but yeah, I don't know how far I'm gonna get into a second playthrough because I'm finding that I always find in these games, these long RPGs, that my first playthrough is the canon playthrough. I think we talked about that before. And then the second time I go through, it's kind of like my fun playthrough, and I kind of just stick around and see what the differences are.
Sure.
But the game is so long that I'm just like, I don't know if I'm down for this right now. It might have
it's
to be
a little bit
something I come back to.
demoralizing when you just did it.
Exactly. It's still super fun though. Like I kind of want to just skip all the story stuff and go right to the gameplay.
Yeah.
The gameplay's so fun. The combat's so fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's so incredible that you can have that they put that much effort into 3 different gameplay experiences. Like it's really impressive. I don't know how the skills work with the ranger. I can't remember at this moment because like I said, warrior's got rage, mage's got mana. I don't know how it works with the ranger. Have to revisit that.
Yeah,
but they all have like a different system and a completely different skill board. So really cool. I did talk to a friend of mine who played the game through already and compared choice differences.
Okay.
Because I was like, I'm not going to get to it soon, so I should find out like how different things can turn out. And your choices matter.
So it is actually really different in places.
Oh yeah.
Okay, cool.
There's 2 in particular choices that are like game changers.
Okay. I mean, Mass Effect, even though I haven't played Mass Effect, I know that Mass Effect does stuff like that because I know that there's at least one character in your group that has to die, but it's like depending on what you do determines who it is.
No. There are you can play through all of Mass Effect without losing anybody. Wait, no, sorry, you're right. There is one character in the first game.
Somebody has to be sacrificed for something.
Yeah, you have to pick between two people. Yes, that is true. You are correct. That's in the first game, but the rest of the series, everyone can survive if you do everything correctly. Correctly.
Yeah.
I don't know whether that's the case with Dragon Age: The Veilguard. I did have someone die in mine, and it was a heartstring pull.
Oh yeah.
It was like a slow-mo moment.
Oh, okay.
That you don't see coming, and you're like, oh. And it lets it sink in for a second, and it's like, damn, that hit hard. That was really good. But otherwise, everyone in my party survived, and I got the true ending and all that stuff. So, and I did 100% of the content and everything. So, yeah. So that's more on Dragon Age. Probably the last time I'll be talking about that for a while. I tried out Lost Records. This is the new game from Don't Nod, the Life is Strange people. It's free on PlayStation Plus, so I checked it out. I only played like the first the opener basically, and it's a Don't Nod game. They're all kind of the same. They're all very like
story driven.
Watch a TV show, make choices, get deeply invested in the characters, that kind of thing. And I kind of wish that Don't Nod would like branch out a little bit.
Yeah, I was gonna say branch out. Yeah.
I like what they're doing, and the quality of their stuff is really good. But I mean, they've done Life is Strange 2. Did they do Tell Me Why? They may have. I don't know if they did Tell Me Why. And then they did Life is Strange True Colors. They're doing Life is Strange Double Exposure, and now they've got Lost Records, and they're all kind of similar.
Yeah.
In gameplay and in story and in themes.
Yeah.
So it's like
they've decided this is their niche and that's what they're going to do.
Yeah. I'm very afraid for them that it's going to end badly because people are going to get burnt out by it.
Yeah, like
kind of surprised that that's not happened already.
Yeah, because it like the first thing that comes to mind is like Telltale, where they just did one kind of game, which is fine, but they did it so often and with like so many different stories, but all ultimately the same kind of game that people kind of lost interest.
Yeah. And which, it sucks because the quality of the games is really great. Like, I loved the Telltale games. I played a bunch of them. And the Life is Strange games are really good. I tried playing Life is Strange 2 the other day. And I don't know, it didn't hit me the same way that Life is Strange did. I don't know if Tell Me Why is a Don't Nod game. It's definitely the same style of game, that's for sure. But it's very colorful. It's a Don't Nod game. I don't know if I have much to say about it. It's a little bit different though. Like the story kind of like juts back and forth between first person mode in the present and third person mode when they were kids.
Okay.
In like 1995, which is kind of cool. Like I walked around the character's room and there was like a Tamagotchi on the desk and like lots of 90s references. It was kind of cool. And like she's got like a camcorder, and that's kind of like that's like one of the gimmicks of the game is recording things on her camcorder. It's fine. I haven't decided whether I'm going to continue with it or not. It's not like something I put down and was like, man, I hated that. It was just something where I'm like, I don't know if this is too familiar or if I want to spend time with it yet. So got to think on it a little bit more. But the game that I spent the most time this week with was Avowed.
Yes.
That just released this week. It's out on Xbox Game Pass. I think we talked about the Metacritic last week. It's sitting at about like 79, about an 80. I have such mixed reactions to it.
Oh, yeah?
Like, I don't know how I feel about it. So from a visual standpoint, the characters, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. They're fucking ugly. They're really bad. Especially coming off of Dragon Age. I'm like, This looks like it's like straight Skyrim, like type visuals. Like the hair looks atrocious. There's like the hair is like just like a solid thing. Like it doesn't move. It's like what is happening? This is 2025. Gotta have at least some movement in it.
Like speaking as somebody who does 3D modeling.
Oh, it's not easy,
but still does it. It's not easy, and I sympathize because now I know how hard it is. Yeah. But like I'm also an amateur, and these guys are professionals. So
and we've seen better hair. I'm not going to compare it to Dragon Age Veilguard because the tech for the hair in that game is insane.
Yeah.
Compared to every other game I've played. But I mean, I've definitely seen better hair before Dragon Age Veilguard. So it's like it just looks like a helmet that's on their head.
Yeah.
It looks bad. There's also this weird like shading that happens on certain characters. There's this, I don't know what the race is called, but they're like this like feathery blue. I don't even know what the race is called. I'm not familiar. So for those that don't know, the Avowed game takes place in the Pillars of Eternity universe, and I'm not familiar with those games. Like I know what those games are. I've played demos for them, but like I don't have any investment in the lore of their world. Mm-hmm. So I don't know what the character's race is, but it just looks strange. It just looks off. That being said, though, the environments are gorgeous. They're absolutely beautiful, very colorful. The water looks insanely good.
Mm-hmm. It's funny you said that because I'm looking at footage of it right now, and immediately as you said water, I clicked to a part of footage and there was water on screen, and I was like, oh yeah, that looks good.
Yeah, it looks phenomenal. Looks really good.
So I see what you mean about you were talking about these blue people.
Yeah.
Yeah, they look
it looks odd.
They look a little odd, yeah.
There's just weird shading effect to like the feathers. Like it just looks weird.
Yeah.
You know what it reminds me of is like, have you ever played a game? I don't know what engine it is, but it might be Unreal 4. You know how like foliage, like in some games foliage pops in as you're moving forward, and then in some games foliage like materializes in.
Yeah.
Like it like glitches in, like sparkles in. That's kind of what their fur looks like.
It doesn't just instantly appear all at once. It sort of fades in with a pixely effect. It's called dithering.
Dithering, yeah. It dithers in. That's kind of what their feathers kind of look like, but they're like always dithering.
Yes, and
so it just looks weird.
That is actually a way that I've seen hair and fur rendered in games before. Now, it may be because you're playing the Xbox version. Let me see if the footage...
I'm in performance mode as well, so keep that in mind.
That might have something to do with it. Yeah. I'm looking at this footage here. Hold on, let me bring it up to 1080p.
Yeah, so performance mode is in 1080p, 60 frames per second. I did try the quality mode, which is 4K at 30. Oof. Yeah. First-person game in 30 frames.
You know what? I just saw it when the camera changed during dialogue with this character.
The dithering effect?
Yeah, like the way that like the fur or feathers or whatever rendered, they were suddenly like kind of blurry and then they sharpened up.
Yeah, it's weird.
That once it's had like a moment on screen and the character is standing still, it actually looks pretty good. But
maybe not on the Xbox. Maybe on the PC.
Like maybe I'm looking. Oh yes, I am looking at PC footage because I can see that the keys are keyboard keys and not. Yeah. So it may be that I'm looking at something playing on the highest settings or something.
Yeah.
But the fact that it looked a little bit weird after a camera transition to another angle, that could be a temporal effect because that is something that's shown up in other games where they use information from previous frames to help smooth over the current one. It's basically the way temporal anti-aliasing works.
Okay.
And if they're using that to smooth out the look of the hair and they change the camera, the pixels the pixels from the previous frame are no longer relevant. So it looks bad for a split second before it has enough frames in that angle to work from. Yeah. I mean, is this an Unreal Engine game or is this...
I don't know what Avowed is running on, to be honest with you. I don't think it's Unreal 5.
Yeah.
I would be surprised. Because I can usually tell an Unreal 5 game because the environments look very specific.
It does have a certain sort of rendering look to it.
Yeah.
It is Unreal Engine.
4 or 5?
5, it says.
Wow. Interesting.
So that I know
that's
that
worrisome.
I do know that Unreal Engine has. First of all, it has a temporal anti-aliasing feature built into it that has shown those kind of artifacts before. Um, and it also has temporal upscaling. Now, the temporal upscaling, which uses previous frame data to build a bigger picture, actually works pretty well in Unreal Engine games. It usually looks pretty good. But
At least on PC.
At least on PC, yeah.
Yeah.
All of that stuff can be controlled to some degree by developers, and they usually turn it down for consoles because they're not running. I mean, they are running dedicated GPUs, but they're onboard GPUs, like they're integrated into the CPU, so they don't have as much space to fit as many transistors on, so they're not as fast.
Yeah, I have not played a Unreal Engine 5 game on console that looks great yet.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, you mentioned the dithering. Stalker 2 has that in spades if you turn off certain post-processing effects. Like if you turn off anti-aliasing, and it uses, there's a few different anti-aliasing methods. It even has like DLSS and FSR for anti-aliasing, even when you're playing at native resolution. If you turn anti-aliasing off, that game is pixelated as hell. Like everything just looks very shimmery and really crisp and sharp, but in a really dithered, pixely way.
Yeah.
It doesn't. The visuals don't really come together until you turn on anti-aliasing. Now, I don't know if that's something specific to Stalker 2 or if it's just a universal thing with UE5 games.
Yeah.
But since they're both running on the same engine, I mean, again, like I've said this before, I'm not a programmer, so I don't know that that's definitely what it is. I'm just saying, based on what I do know about how this engine works and how the rendering in it is done, it's possible that since these two games are on the same engine, and I've seen sort of similar to what you're talking about, it could be a related issue. Yeah. Or it could be something completely different. I don't know for sure. That's just my personal
It's tough to say. And they might fix it in patches. Because, I mean, the game just came out on Tuesday, and we all know that, you fast forward 6 months after launch, and most games look and feel they look and play way better.
Considerably better.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of which, before I move on with more Avowed stuff, I remember how I said that I booted up Orcs Must Die on Xbox, and the frame rate was shit.
Did they patch it?
Yeah, I played it like 2 days ago, and it was running perfect at a 60. so I was like, nice. I was like, why did this take 4 days, or 2 weeks? Like, why didn't you just delay it 2 weeks to have it run properly? Yeah, weird.
It's a weird thing because like when we were kids and games just came out and that was it.
Yeah,
it's
unfortunate.
They had better run good because you don't have any do-overs.
No.
But on the same time, if there was a problem, you're fucked.
Oh, yeah,
you have to figure out a workaround. So, like, I kind of don't mind that they can patch stuff now, but it also means that, like, a lot of stuff comes out and it's got to wait for the patch for it to be good.
Yeah, it's basically like games don't even release in version 1.
Yeah.
Like, it's like they all release, in
0.8 or something.
Yeah. Yeah, like, what? It's kind of unfair, honestly, especially when it's a physical version.
Yeah.
Because, like, if I go back and play, I don't know, I can't think of a game off the top of my head that's, like, busted on disc. But if it's, like, busted on disc, and I
like
go back
20
and play
years from now.
Yeah. Like, it's going to be shit.
The patch server is not going to be online anymore.
Yeah. It's like, what the hell am I supposed to do with that?
Yeah.
You sold me a piece of shit. Like, that's unfortunate. But, I mean, that's also why people are buying digital, way more now, too. It's just another benefit.
But the flip side of that is if you if your PlayStation hard drive dies and you put a new one in, and it's 20 years later. Yeah, but if it's 20 years later, and that server is no longer online, you can't even play the game at all.
No, yeah, well, that's very true.
Broken or nothing.
Yeah, we're in a scary place with games.
Well, I mean, that's why I'm not too down on like piracy of old games. Because it's like, if they're not going to keep it available and patched for us, then it kind of falls to us to do it.
Well, I mean, and technically, if you own the game already, you're not pirating it.
Yeah, if you own the game already, fuck it. You've paid for it, so...
Yeah, I don't really pay much mind to people that look down on that. I'm like, if I bought it already, I don't care what medium I get it in. I paid for it.
If you look in the end user license agreement, you'll see very clearly spelled out that what you've purchased is a license to play the game.
Yep.
So,
which they're making very clear now.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
They're legally speaking, there shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah. I'm not buying a license for your specific version that I can only get from your store.
Yeah.
Like I should be able to play it wherever the hell I want.
Yeah.
So yeah, I have no problem with that. Anyway, back to Avowed. So yeah, visually stunning environments, not so great character models.
Mm-hmm.
The story is atypical. You're a random dude who was chosen by the gods to have special powers, and you don't know why, and you don't know which god gave you powers, and you're working for the king.
Yeah.
To look into a plague, and then it just unravels. From there, it's pretty standard RPG stuff. Nothing crazy. The gameplay though is obviously what is kind of the crux of most of what the reviews are talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, there's lots of complaints that the enemies are bullet sponges and it's kind of formulaic and there's not a lot of enemy variety and all this kind of stuff. And
yeah, I'm watching some combat right now and it's a lot of run up, stab the guy, backstep, and then wait for what I assume is like your stamina meter to recharge.
Yeah,
so you can do a harder hit. Yeah.
So this is where I get like I'm undecided on is the combat. It feels crunchy. Mm-hmm. It feels impactful. We talked about this, I think, last week about melee combat and how it's so hard to do in first person because you don't get that like tactile response. From hitting something.
You basically have to build the entire game around first person melee combat.
Yeah, and they do that. They do that very well. So like when I slash and I miss, it feels like I missed. When I slash and I hit something, there's like this momentary like slowdown.
There's like a stoppage as you put your knife.
And there's almost like a zoom. I don't know if it actually is or if it's just like if it's some sort of like visual aid that does it. But like when you hit, it almost like there's like a quick slowdown and a quick zoom that and then zoom back out. So it all happens in like a blink of an eye. It's hard to pin down. But it feels good in that sense.
Yeah, it looks like maybe they're adjusting the field of view on the camera very slightly for just like a few frames to give a rushing sensation.
That's a much more technical way of putting it that makes my point. Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
That's a good description. Yeah, that feels like exactly what's happening. The skill trees are weird. So there's no classes in the game. You do pick like a starting weapon basically, and that's it. And then there's 3 skill trees that you have. One is called like fighter, one's called mage, and one's called rogue basically. And they all have like, at least I think that's the 3. Fighter. Oh, it might be like fighter, mage, thief. I don't know. I can't recall.
But strength, speed, magic, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and at level 1, there's a bunch of skills that are available for you to put a point into. At level 5, at level 10, and then I think at level 20.
Yeah, I'm going through the video and I'm seeing the skill trees and
and they're okay.
I like that they show you a little video of what it does.
Yes, yeah, that is very helpful. I love.
So
when
you don't have to
buy
it. You don't have to save, buy it, try it out, reload.
Dragon Age does the same thing. I love that. Like, show me what this thing is because I want to know if I like it. A lot of games are
doing that now.
Love it. Yeah, there's nothing worse than picking a move and then being like, "Oh, this sucks.
Yeah,
why did I buy this?" Diablo is a good example of that. They don't show you the videos in Diablo.
No.
Or at least in Diablo 4 they don't. I can't remember if they do in Diablo 3.
Well, in Diablo 3 it doesn't matter because you unlock them in a set progression.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, so you could just test things out.
But in Diablo 2, you gotta pick.
Oh yeah, you gotta experiment in that game, which sucks. Yeah, so like the tree's fine. You also have to go every time you level up. You also get a point in one of your main stats, kind of like Diablo.
Mm-hmm.
You got like your might, your intellect, standard RPG stuff.
Yeah.
And then the weapon system is what's weird to me. So you have two sets basically of what's in your hands. So on my guy, I have in one hand a short sword, and in the other hand a grimoire, which is for casting spells.
Yeah, and I'm seeing this, and every time the player goes into the sprint animation, they snap the spellbook shut and then they flip it open again. That would I know that this is a really minor thing. That would annoy the hell out of me.
Why?
I don't know. It's just the constant changing of something in the corner of my field of view.
Oh, I see.
Would just be really distracting to me.
So you can holster at any time as well. So if you holster, then you just see your hands.
Hands go down, it just vanishes. Yeah.
So I do that all the time because I can't stand walking around like a town with my sword out. Like it's just weird. So you have one weapon in one hand. I have a short sword in one hand, which I can use to melee attack, obviously, and then the other hand I can use to cast spells. But then you also have your skill tree kind of thing, meter thing, which you can hold down L1 on the controller L1, and it pauses the action, and then a skill, kind of like Mass Effect or Dragon Age, comes up with like all the commands.
Mm-hmm.
So you have like 3 skills at the bottom. I think no, not 3 skills at the bottom. It's basically just a circle of shit, of spells and shit that you can cast that are from your skill tree.
Like quick access.
Yeah, quick access. So you can just be like, bam, I want to cast this spell right now.
Yeah.
But it feels kind of like, I don't know. It just feels odd. I don't know how to describe it. Like, one of those skills you can assign to the right D-pad to cast real quick, which just kind of like, there's a lot of buttons going on. At this point, it's like, okay, we got a lot going on here. So I don't know whether I'm just not used to it yet or what, but it just feels a little clunky. And if you press Y, then you can switch your hands to whatever you have in your second slot, which for me is a bow. But I mean, you can go from like a sword and a shield to a sword and a grimoire, or a bow to a sword and a shield, like whatever combo you can come up with. And then there's like 2-handed weapons. There's a lot of variation. There's pistols, there's rifles. There's a lot of variation in it. So I need more time to experiment with it. I haven't found that the enemies are damage sponges yet.
Okay.
So I don't know if that's like deeper into the game maybe. But the enemies feel like they have a decent, acceptable health pool. The one thing that's actually very cool about the game, though, is that enemies don't respawn.
Oh, okay.
So if you go into a cave or you go into like anywhere in the world and you kill a camp of critters, they don't come back.
Interesting.
So it's got kind of a completionist angle to it, where it's like, you could like go through an entire zone and just wipe it out,
depopulate it. Yeah,
and then there's just nothing in it anymore.
Interesting.
So I don't know how I feel about that. It's very unique.
Is there any way to repopulate it?
No, not that I'm aware of. I think it's designed to keep things balanced so that you can't just grind.
Okay. But then it's like, well, you're going through an area and it's just a bunch of empty space. There's nothing to interact with.
Yeah, I'm wondering if that's on purpose, just so you can like travel quicker. But there is fast travel in the game, so it's like I don't know. Unless it's just to help you, like, oh shit, I missed something. We've all been there. You're like, oh shit, I missed the one chest on that far corner of the freaking map. Oh shit, all the enemies have respawned. I don't want to face all these idiots. I just want to get to that damn chest, so now you can just walk through and go get it. I guess that's kind of a benefit to that, but I don't know. I'm not deep enough into the game yet to know how that's like really effective on long-term gaming, but it is interesting. Enemy variety so far has been like 2 enemy types, maybe 3. So I am seeing that very early on. Like I fought like 8 bears already. I don't know.
I just like the idea that you're playing this fantasy game and the enemy you fought a bunch of is bears.
Yeah. I mean, it is like level 1, so like I'm sure I'm going to fight crazy stuff later
on. Also, a bear at level 1, a bear's got to be at least a level 10 enemy. Come on.
Yeah, well, the first bear I thought was pretty tough, but now I can pretty much dispatch them pretty quickly. I basically like freeze them with my ice magic, and then just go hack and slash them, and then they're dead.
You just shatter a bear like Sub-Zero.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So I don't know. I kind of agree with the reviews so far. Most of the reviews are basically like, yeah, it's a competent first-person RPG, but it doesn't do really anything to like stand itself apart, or
yeah,
it's just kind of there. Doesn't mean it's not enjoyable. It just means there are better experiences out there in this genre. Yeah, I'm still going to continue to play it. Mm-hmm. It's kind of it's my main game right now. But I'm just, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see. Okay, that's what we're playing. There is no letter time this week, and we don't have a happy birthday to reach out to. So let's get into the Metacritic check-in. We have a couple to look at. Lost Records. I talked about that game just a few moments ago. It's sitting at a 73 on Metacritic with a user score of 61. So a little bit less on the user side.
The user reviews for those kind of games tend to be more polarizing, because there's a pretty sharp divide between people who like those mostly story-driven, very little gameplay games. Like, there's some people who absolutely love them, and then there's people who just have no interest in them. Like, I'm not super into them myself. I can get into them once in a while, but
I don't think I'm going to get into. So here's the weird thing, right? Is that I got really into Lost is Strange. Life is Strange. Yeah. Life is Strange season 1, which, looking back on, I don't know why I got sucked into it, because it's like, it's a story about two teenage girls. Like, I don't have any real, like, how can I relate to that at all?
Maybe that just means it was well written.
That's true. It was.
I mean, I really liked Everything Everywhere All at Once, and I'm not. I
haven't seen that. I gotta watch that.
I'm not a Chinese immigrant in her 50s.
Well, that's true. That's a good point. You do make a good point.
But I really enjoyed that movie.
Yeah, this one is about 4 12 to like 16-year-olds, teenage girls. So again, it's like, I don't really know how I can, like, why wasn't, like, you guys keep doing female, like they did I shouldn't say that. Life is Strange 2 is about two brothers, which is ironically the one I didn't get into. I think I just rather would have seen like a 4 boys type game instead of 4 girls at this point.
Maybe this is a response to that, because, like, remember, there've been a lot of stories that's about like 2 or 3 or 4 boys, entering their teenage, like Stand By Me, movies like that.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of those, and maybe they're like, we'll do that, but with girls, which is fine. I mean, that's what Final Fantasy 15 was, to a certain degree.
That's a good point. Yeah, that's true. The only other game of note on Metacritic this week is Like a Dragon Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii, which is sitting at a 79.
That's definitely going to be my first Yakuza game. 100%.
Yeah, I mean, my first Yakuza game was the first Like a Dragon. I think it was just called or maybe it was Yakuza Like a Dragon.
Yeah. In Japan, the series is called Like a Dragon.
Mm-hmm. We called it Yakuza.
Yeah, probably because it wouldn't go over well just calling it Yakuza in Japan.
Yeah.
And they've been now trying to switch over to that name in North America, so it's a little confusing. But
yeah. And they successfully have at this point. There's a lot of games under the Like a Dragon brand.
Yeah.
They pump those games out so fast.
Yeah. And yet they're always well reviewed, both critically and amongst users.
Yeah, I tried Like a Dragon multiple times. I tried to get into it, and I'm just like, there's parts of it where I'm like, oh, this is really cool. So the parts of it that I like are the serious parts,
Yeah.
And then when it goes off the rails with like fucking weird ass
Yeah.
shit, I'm like, okay, yeah, this is turning me off. Like,
Yeah,
it's really
those
weird.
games have a very particular sense of humor to them.
Yeah, I did try Judgment and I didn't like it, and that I think is the serious one.
Yeah,
Like all serious. So I don't know. I don't know what to say. It's just not my bag, I guess.
yeah.
That's it from Metacritic Check-In, which means it's time for the news. We're going to start off with 2 trailers. We mentioned them earlier in the show. Take it away, Mr. Pizza Cat.
Yes. So, IGN, as I said, put out a trailer just out of nowhere. We had no idea that this was going to happen. Just put out a trailer that says, "Hey, there's a Samurai Pizza Cats game in development," and that alone would have been cool. But they actually went and animated like new footage for this announcement. Yeah. I thought that it was old footage that they were just dubbing over, which, by the way, it sounds to me an awful lot like they've got the original voice actors from 30 years ago, because it sure sounds like them.
Watch, you're going to find out it's AI.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
Oh, no.
No.
Ruin everything.
But anyway, I thought it was just recycled footage, but then there's a part where the big cheese, and it's in the old aspect ratio as well. It's in 4:3, but then there's a part where he grabs the black bars on the side of the screen and stretches them like they're curtains. And I'm like, wait a minute, hold on a second. It turns out that they actually did new animation for this, and apparently they did it traditionally.
Uh-oh.
So, wait, am I gone?
Oh, yeah.
Am I still here?
You were for a second, but you're back.
Oh, okay,
yeah,
okay. So they apparently they've done traditional animation on this, because there's a making of video that shows like all the pencil stuff, and it's like they really put in the effort for because like I said, it looked like just reused footage to me, and they could have absolutely gotten away with that, and nobody would have thought twice about it. But they actually went to the effort of doing all this new, old traditional animation. Like, that's wild. And then when they finally get to the gameplay footage, it's like, this looks really good. Like, this looks really high quality.
Yeah.
So
yeah, no, it looks good.
It's not just like, oh, we decided to cash in on like a franchise for nostalgia. I mean, they did, but like, it looks like they're actually serious about it, and it's not just, something that they're pumping out. So that's really cool. I've wanted a Samurai Pizza Cats game for a long time, because I think it's a formula that would work in a video game. You've got 3 different heroes who have different fighting styles. Like, that seems really easy to adapt to a video game. And there was a video game, but it was only released in Japan, so we didn't get it here.
No.
I've played it, and it's it's fine. It's a Famicom game. It's about as good as a platformer on the Famicom tends to be, which is to say, it's fine. But like, I've always thought that like the Pizza Cats would work really well in a game like Legend of the Mystical Ninja or Pocky and Rocky, and this kind of looks like a Mystical Ninja game.
Yeah, it's like a side-scrolling.
From what we've seen, it kind of looks similar to one of those games. So maybe somebody else felt the same way. And it's not like Konami has put out a new Goemon game in a while. And there was there was a Pocky and Rocky game that came out within like the last year, I think. But it was just like an HD remake of the original, which is fine. But this is really cool, because this was a show that I watched all the time as a kid. This is basically the show that introduced me to anime. So it's like, it's a big deal. And
super random too.
Yeah, super random. I just came across it online, and I was like, fucking what? Hold on. No. What? Is this real? Is this, what the fuck? I was just speechless.
I was doing some research to try and figure out who is making it, and it's a little more confusing because the developer is Dutch. Blast Zero Games.
Yes.
They don't seem to have a website from what I can find. So I don't know. They must be a new studio.
Maybe.
Which is interesting that they would be able to get the license.
Yeah.
So that's a little interesting. I looked up the publisher Red Dune Games. They've got several games in development right now, but I don't think they have anything actually released. See if any of these games ring a bell. We got Port of Jumana, Princess of the Water Lilies,
No,
Nightmare Battle Zozo, Battles of Mirage, and Blackfinger Jet.
Some of those sound like really generic games, like the
I know
the kind like the browser based strategy game.
I'm wondering if they might be like some of them might be mobile.
That's not only possible; it's probably likely.
It says Blackfinger Jet is a side-scrolling run and gun game. Blades of Mirage is a top-down action RPG. Nightmare Battle Zozo is a 2D platformer. A shooter 2D platformer. I don't know what that means. Oh, so like Contra. I guess. And then Princess of the Water Lilies is a 2D puzzle exploration game. And then Port of Jumana is a retro pixel-style underwater adventure with roguelite elements. So they got a lot going on. I don't know what studios are making all of those games, but they're all under the Red Dunes Games. That's a weird name for a publisher. Red Dunes Games. Should just be like Red Dune Games, but yeah, very exciting. Hopefully it turns out well.
Yeah.
It's always weird when it's like a developer you've never heard of who doesn't have like a pedigree behind them or anything like that. Like I desperately tried to find a website for that studio, and there's nothing. Like Blast Zero Studios, unless they've made something recent.
Yeah, and the thing is, like these characters, like I'm looking at some of the gameplay footage, which is only like a quarter of the video.
Yeah, it's not very long.
There's not a whole lot of it, but it did say it's in development. It wasn't like, hey, this is coming out here. This is being made.
Yeah.
So it's probably still fairly early-ish.
It looks good though.
Yeah, like it looks like this has been done by like I'm wondering if it's animators who either worked on the show back in the day or come from the studio that did the show, Tatsunoko, because they're super on model. The style of like little things like the way they run, they've got like the sort of the drawn blur, where they just draw like a smear for the legs. They've got
I'm looking at it.
Just like the show. The backgrounds all have that painterly style that's very typical of anime.
Yeah. It looks like it's got random battles, like when you're in like a top-down view.
Like it kind of makes me wonder if they're almost doing like a Zelda 2 thing.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Where you get into random side-scrolling battles.
Yeah, but then there's like platforming and stuff on some of the levels too.
Yeah,
so
and you're also walking around a town that is not a side-scrolling stage. It looks like a typical top-down RPG town.
And then there's a menu system of cards.
Yeah.
Like
I wonder if that's like an ability thing or
it looks like what? That's what it looks like. Very interesting though. Yeah. It is because like next to each thing, there's summons.
They aren't they? Yeah, they're all characters.
They're characters from the show that you can summon. Yeah. And it takes magic and a certain amount of slots. So there must be like a... Yeah. Oh, there's a slot thing at the bottom.
Yep.
There's like a meter there.
16 that's shown here. And
so there must be abilities and summons that you can kind of like tie together.
Some of these are really good.
Yeah.
There's a great joke on one of these. They have I don't know how well you remember the show, but the Princess Vi's summon sends people to Prisoner Island, which is a thing that she would do in the show. Is she would banish people to Prisoner Island. But in one episode, they go to Prisoner Island, and it turns out it's actually like a tropical paradise or whatever. And she just doesn't know that it's actually a really great place.
Oh my god! Off you go!
Yeah.
Oh, sweet.
Pretty much.
No, it's actually
people get there and they're like, "Oh, we won the lottery here."
Yeah. It describes it as a action RPG.
Yeah.
With a leveling up system.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I can see a level up thing here, or like a level 9.
Level 9, yeah.
Whatever. And yeah, there's this cool thing with like a big cheese coming up in the background, like a giant robot, and it almost looks like it might be like a cell shaded 3D element. Like but it looks crazy. So good.
Yeah, it does.
Like this kind of makes me think of the Shantae games with how well animated those are.
Yeah, it looks gorgeous.
Yeah, or Cuphead.
Yeah, I was gonna say it almost looks like it's from the Cuphead developer, but it's definitely not. But yeah, it looks really cool, and it's so out of left field. I love stuff like that.
Yeah, but they're clearly
no release
putting
date,
in the
though.
work.
I don't think there was.
Look, dude, I don't need a release date right now. I'm just happy to know that this is happening.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like, did it have a year? Let's see. Oh, to be announced. Okay.
Yeah, just in development for all major platforms. But we know that PC is one of them because it says wish list now on Steam. So there's that.
I'm looking at the Steam page right now. Yeah, because I was going to check the developer on there to see if there was any other games from last year, but there's not. Yeah, there's not. Okay, yeah. So when I go to Red Dune's developer page on Steam, all of their games are not out yet.
Oh.
Yeah. So they have release dates of 2025, Q4 2025,
2026, yeah,
coming soon. Yeah, to be announced. So that's a little worrisome. Hopefully,
well, these. It looks like these are coming from. It looks like these are all coming from different studios. Like they're part of Jumana. It looks like they're just developing internally. But then you look at Black Finger Jet, and its developers listed as Kohachi and Acquire.
Yeah, Blades of Mirage is Agate Studios.
Yeah, so
who do have a lot of games under their belt, actually.
Yeah, and looking at Blast Zero on Steam, all they've got listed here is Samurai Pizza Cat's Blast from the Past.
Yeah, you gotta wonder, like, where does a publisher like this come from? There's one day that someone just woke up and was like, hey, I'm going to be a publisher. And then they have like 8 games ready to publish in the next 2 years.
Yeah.
Like where did you come from? Like,
where's the money coming from?
Yeah, where's the money? That's a big question. It's like, where did you get the money, bro? Let me see if they have like an about page. Red Dune Games. There we go. Oh, yeah. Their mission statements about as corporate as it gets. Founded by avid gamers.
So I've scrolled down to the more like this part on Steam, and the first one listed is Cuphead.
Yeah, well, absolutely. It says
and
Red
also Castle
Games.
Crashers.
But yeah, I could see a little bit of that. It says Red Dunes Games. It's a terrible name, guys. You got to change that. Is dedicated to nurturing the indie gaming community. We are committed to developing innovative games and inspiring the next generation of game artists, developers, enthusiasts. And our goal is to craft stories worth telling and worlds worth exploring, bringing back the magic of those old school gaming memories that we all cherish. Where are they located? Where are they? Oh, here's a team. The CDO is Mohammed Al-Jabani, Janabi. And oh, please don't tell me this is...
Man, there's already 3 pages of discussions on Steam.
Oh, no doubt.
I hope it'll be deck verified. Dude, I don't think you need to worry about that. I'm looking at the projected specifications.
Yeah, no. It's a 2D side scroller, bro. Like, what do you think it's gonna be?
760 or Radeon R9 270X.
Yeah,
dude, I think you're good on the deck. OS Windows 7. Steam doesn't even support Windows 7 anymore.
I wonder if maybe they're placeholders.
I mean, maybe. Yeah. But I'm pretty sure this will play just fine on the deck.
It doesn't say much about the CEO, but the CDO has a ton of experience working with animation, music, and video game studios in Japan and South Korea.
Oh, so maybe that's how they got the license.
Yeah, well, it also probably is where they got some of the money.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the CEO is kind of a mystery. He has a background in business and leadership through Aldarmaki Group and films through Dark Dunes Productions.
Yeah. So there's another topic on the Steam discussion page posted by someone named MacDaddy X24, which is a fantastic name. And the title of the thread is, "If Konami is not going to make another Goemon game, this will do for now." So clearly I'm not the only person who's thinking along those lines.
Yeah. No, I would love another is it
Goemon
Goemon or Gomon?
Goemon.
I always said it Gomon. Oh, I don't like that. That ruins my childhood.
Well,
I always said it Gomon. Yeah, Dark Dune Studios is like an indie movie production team.
Huh.
So that's definitely not where they got the money from. Oh, from Abu Dhabi. Based in Abu Dhabi. Okay, well, we'll keep an eye on that for sure.
Yeah.
The other trailer was something that made me pee my pants just as much as you did with with yours, and that is Monster Train 2 got announced. Monster Train 2. I have talked about Monster Train on this show many times. It is my favorite card roguelike game of all time, and it looks like more Monster Train, just with new decks and some enhancements, and I am fucking thrilled through the roof that this is a real thing. I've tweeted at that studio many times. I'm like, are we going to get a Monster Train 2? What are you guys working on? What are you guys working on? What are you guys working on? Monster Train 2? Are you going to do it?
And I'm slightly guilty of that sort of thing as well. I try not to do it, but like with God of Protectors on the Switch, it came out in Japan like years ago. And occasionally I would tweet at Yuzo Koshiro, who's the head of the studio and also speaks English. I'd be like, so any plans for an English localization?
Yeah.
And we
I mean, if you don't ask, you'll never know.
Yeah. And the response was always something like, a smiley face, or, we would love to do that, or something like that. So I'm like, okay, he knows.
Yeah, I would occasionally get a response too of like, stay tuned.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, all right, I'm staying tuned.
Yeah,
I'd like to see something. But yeah, I'm looking at the images that they showed in the trailer, and I'm just like, I'm on board. Like, no pun intended.
Yeah, you got there before
it's
I
a train.
I was like, oh, you're aboard the Monster Train, really?
It doesn't look as good, I will say. The art style's like way different than the first one. But it's also probably incomplete. So
yeah, it's early.
I'm not gonna judge it.
I mean,
since it's coming this year.
I mentioned Shantae. Demo, though. I mentioned Shantae earlier. When they announced Shantae Half Genie Hero, the first footage they showed off for it was like, this looks better than the older games, but only really on a technical level. Because what they had made right before that was the DuckTales remaster, which looks good. But you would hope that the next game that they make would look even better because they'd be building upon that, and it didn't. But then it came out and it did. So, they got time to change it. They got time to improve it.
Yeah. There's a demo which I'm tempted to download, but I also don't really want to because I don't need a demo to tell me that I'm going to love this game. It says all new clans, new enemy factions, new challenges, new modes, and more. Still holds the classic Defend Your Pyre and the 3-tier vertical gameplay that made the original a hit. So yeah, don't fix what's not broken, guys. Just give me more of it, because don't complicate the process. Just give me more of what you gave me. You know what I'm saying?
Some games just get it right the first time, and they don't really need to. There's not really a lot to improve. They might be able to figure out things to add to it.
Yeah.
But when you've got a formula that works, you don't have to think too hard about reworking it because it already works.
They could have just done DLC, honestly, for it, but I'm hoping that the sequel will stay in its lane, but also, give me some new stuff. I'm cool with that. Give me some tweaks. Man, that is high on my top anticipated games this year list. That's all we know is it's coming this year. Man, I'm so resisting touching that download demo button right now. Don't do it. Don't do it. Just wait for it. It'll be good. All right, let's get into the news. Let's start off with what we always start off with when there is bad news. Tributes paid after death of Half-Life 2 and Dishonored artist Victor Antonov.
Yes.
Antonov, age 52.
Yeah, too early, and very unfortunate for it to come just after the game had its 20th anniversary.
Yeah. Not really much to say specifically about this. I mean, lots of people were tweeting about it this week. He was very loved, influential in the development of Half-Life 2.
Yeah, worked on a really good game.
Yeah.
Helped define the look of a really good game.
Yeah. He also worked on Dishonored, which is also a really good game.
Yeah. That also looks really nice.
Yeah, gorgeous game. So, R.I.P. To Victor Antonov. It doesn't say how he passed.
Maybe the family just didn't release it. They want to keep it private, which is fine.
Yeah, that's fine. 52 is way too young, though.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter how. It's too early to go.
Yep, 100%. Next up, a little bit into more interesting territory. It looks like in the latest Black Ops 6 map, they have added a teaser for some sort of Tony Hawk announcement. I
heard something about that there were some Tony Hawk rumblings.
Yeah,
is the teaser that they're going to pull Vicarious Visions out of the mines and give him Tony Hawk 3 and 4?
That's a good question.
If not, then I'm not sure I want a Tony Hawk 3 and 4. Give it to the people who know what to do with it.
I mean, if the teaser is in a Call of Duty game,
it's possible. That's the only reason why I even have a tiny glimmer of hope.
Yeah, there's no details, but if you go to the grind map on Black Ops 6, there is a skateboard shop, a part of the map. And if you go into the skateboard shop, there is a either like a TV or a poster or a banner in the shop that reads 3425.
Okay, then that's pretty definitive.
Yeah.
That's not an accidental number.
I don't know if that is April 3rd or if that is March 4th.
Well, no. What that is Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4 releasing in 2025.
Could be. That's a good point, actually.
Because the last one was Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 plus 2, so this will be 3 plus 4.
That looks like a date, though.
It does look like it. Well, does it have any separations between the numbers, yes, like a date?
It's 03.04.25.
Oh,
yeah,
that's
different. But it might be specific. Like, you might be right. Like, that makes sense to do that with that date. Tony Hawk's 3 and 4 on
like maybe that's when
March
they'll
4th.
Announce that they're doing it. Okay.
Oh, it is March 4th. That's how they read it. So March 4th, not too far away. So we'll know.
So we'll know then, because it'll either be announced or it won't,
or it'll be released that day. They'll do like a shadow drop kind of thing. You never know.
I feel like they would hype that up a little bit more, though.
If it's just a reboot or a remake or a remaster, maybe not. But maybe it's a whole new game.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
It's bittersweet for me because I fucking love the Tony Hawk games so much, and
the early ones.
Well, yeah. But I just have so much fucking contempt for Activision.
Yeah. I think 2 was the one that we played the most, probably the one with Superman.
Spider-Man
in the sound. No, Superman in the soundtrack. The soundtrack.
It was in the soundtrack. Yeah, that was the first game. That was the first
was it really?
Game.
Oh
yeah.
Shit. Okay, well that's the one I have most memories of.
I played 1 and 2 a lot back in the day. More 2 because of Create a Skater and Create a Skate Park.
Yeah.
But I mean,
I definitely didn't play 3 or 4, but yeah, I played.
I played all of them. Well, except for 5. I didn't play 5.
I think I played 2 myself, and I played 1 on our buddy's Dreamcast.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Pretty sure.
Yeah, the Dreamcast version's a good version. I've played that.
Yeah,
it's good.
Yeah.
It looks really nice.
Yes, it does. Absolutely. The Dreamcast versions of games were always like a slightly downgraded PC version. Like they were really crisp.
Yeah, or in some cases they were just equivalent to the PC version, depending on how much work they put into that version. Like if you look at Shadow Man, the PC version and the Dreamcast version are virtually the same.
Mm-hmm.
And they both look in most regards considerably better than the PlayStation or N64 versions. Although it's funny. It's not 100%. The water effect on the N64 version, as I recall, looks a little more like water. Like it's see-through. I think it's got like that. You remember how in Ocarina of Time they had like that double layered texture thing on the water, where they had one layer moving fast and one layer looking slow. So it was like you could see. It felt like you could see stuff floating in the water. I think they did that in the N64 version, and then they just had sort of a shiny surface on Dreamcast and PC. But for the most part, like the Dreamcast and PC versions of Shadow Man look better. And they also have more complex geometry, including some changes in the levels that are simplified in the N64 and especially the PlayStation version. The PlayStation version of that game doesn't even have glasses on the main character. You know, that iconic part of his look?
Jesus. It's just unfortunate that the Dreamcast controller is not the most comfortable in the world.
It could have been better. Well, I mean, we talked about that on our controller episode. We went into
go watch our Press Pause Extra for more on that.
That thing needed that cable coming out the top really badly.
Really badly. Yeah. All right, let's move on. Palworld has hit 32 million players.
Yeah.
As the lawsuit against them from Nintendo looms. Not much more to say about that. That's basically it.
I'm really like.
It's everywhere now. Like that game is super popular.
Yeah, I'm thinking about the lawsuit, and I'm like, Nintendo. Like this is obviously different enough that Nintendo can't say you're copying our idea, and like the idea of fighting battles with monsters isn't unique to Pokemon. Digimon was doing the same
got
thing
it, and they didn't sue them
at around the same time, and they didn't sue them. And the idea didn't even originate with Pokemon. You could recruit monsters in earlier games. You could recruit them in like Shin Megami Tensei.
From what I understand about the lawsuit is that it's not generic. It's not like, hey, this is a game about capturing monsters. There's like 2 specific patents that they claim that Palworld infringes on. What those specific patents are, I don't know. But yeah.
It just feels like a weird thing for Nintendo to go after, because they usually they. I mean, I don't want to praise Nintendo's legal division by any means because they're scumbags, but they usually pick and choose cases that they're pretty confident about. And I look at this and I'm like, I wouldn't be too confident about winning this one. Or they just, threaten people with legal action and the people back off.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe that's what happened, and they're like, oh, well, they're calling our bluff. Let's take it to court. But
they did win a lawsuit recently against another Pokemon ripoff game. I was going to include it, but the game, like, I've never even heard of the game that they sued for. It was like Pocket Monsters Remake. It was like the name of the game or something like that.
Well, it was like with a name like that, I wouldn't be surprised, because that's what the franchise is called in Japan.
Yeah.
That's actual infringement.
I wish I could find that article, but it's fine.
I know that they have gone after like Pokemon like ROM modders, like who have come up with their own Pokemon versions. Like
they recently shut down 2 of the Switch emulators. So
yeah,
Yuzu
and Ryujinx.
Yeah. All right. In more Pokemon news, this one's weird. Pokemon Go developer Niantic is reportedly in talks to sell their video game business to Saudi-owned company behind Stumbleguys for an estimated $3.5 billion.
Oh, I was gonna say that would be a really weird and dumb thing to do, but that is a lot of money.
Yeah.
So I can see them maybe wanting. To cash out.
It is a little, man. The Saudi thing is just scary.
Yeah, I don't like that. It. I don't like that.
And the fact that like so many people are selling out to it is like, come on, guys. Like,
MBS is a huge nerd, man. He loves video games. He loves anime. He loves wrestling, and he's got a lot. Mohammed bin Salman, Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
So,
but it's like
he's got a lot of money.
Yeah,
money is tempting.
Money is tempting, but apparently, it's beating out a lot of people's character. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't like it. We've seen it in like what's that golf? That PGA Tour. All the people in the PGA Tour are leaving for the Saudi golf tournament.
Yeah.
And the PGA Tour is like, just so you know, you go to them, you're not coming back to us.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I think that's the way it should be. Like, if you're going there, we don't want you, quite frankly. You know. So I don't know. It sucks though. It's so hard to avoid this shit anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It's gross. It's so gross. We talk about it in our wrestling podcast every so often because WWE's got a contract with Saudi as well. So does UFC. Or does UFC?
Well, they're owned by the same company, so.
Yeah, I just can't remember if UFC had an agreement with them before the merger. But yeah, the Royal Rumble next year. Oh my god, that's so depressing. The Royal Rumble next year is in Saudi. Like, I kind of don't want to watch it on principle, which is so sad because it's
talk about AEW that week.
Oh God, we have so much to talk about with AEW this week or next week on Wrestling Renaissance. Some stupid shit went down, which is like, water's wet. When it comes to AEW. Good Lord.
Or seemingly just wrestling promotions in general.
WWE is doing pretty well. They're not doing too bad, but AEW is just a train wreck, man. It's so bad. All right, let's move on. This is Press Pause a Gaming Podcast.
Yeah.
Nintendo has discontinued the Switch eShop Gold Points program ahead of the Switch 2 launch.
Yeah, which I suspect is the reason for it. There's going to be, I think it's next month that you can no longer claim the coins.
Deadline is March 25th.
And the coins will be honored for a year after that. So spend them now, folks.
Yeah, I don't even know
what I have.
If you want to
get a few dollars off a digital purchase.
Yeah, I as a customer, I hate this shit.
Yeah.
Don't start a fucking rewards program and then end it. Why do you do that? You don't need to do that. You're just going to start up a new one. So what's the point? Just keep it. Just keep it the same.
They're probably going to rework how much you get every time you buy a game, and so it's going to be like, oh, well, we don't want to have two different currencies going, and
it's like, here's an idea, just don't.
Yeah.
Just stick with what you have.
I will say it's nice that you don't have to like buy into anything extra to get those coins.
It is nice.
Yeah, yes. you just get them. You have a Nintendo account so that you can buy games on the eShop. You just get them, whether you care or not. You just get them. So it's like, okay, I don't have to like pay a monthly subscription to get into that program or anything. You just get them.
If I recall correctly, I think you get them with physical games as well. You get a little card.
Yep, you can. You can. Well, I believe what it is. I haven't actually bought a physical game for the Switch since Bayonetta 3, but because
for sure it was like a code.
It's just so convenient.
A redeem code.
Well, what you do is you have, I believe, you
register the game.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
Connected,
it registers the game.
And then there's like a unique serial number to each cartridge, and it just
so cool
and says whatever. Here you go.
Yeah, PlayStation's got their own system, but you have to sign up for it. And surprisingly, I haven't. I don't know why I haven't, but I should. Xbox has its own as well that you don't need to sign up for. It's just there.
It's just part of your Xbox Live account.
And it's actually, I think, the best one, personally. So you collect points on Xbox by playing games. So you like there's like a daily quest or like a daily achievement. It might be Game Pass, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. It might be Game Pass specifically. But like I gain points, and then you can trade in those points for various things in their like point shop.
Yeah.
Most of them are like really expensive, like so you have to have like a shitload of points.
It's like going to an arcade
with the tickets.
Trying to get the bike with the tickets.
Here's my pile of tickets.
Yeah, here's my like, 25,000 tickets.
Yeah,
that I won by spending $6,000 on video games when I could have just gone to like Canadian Tire and gotten a bike for $250.
Yeah. But it is cool, and it doesn't seem like the points have gone away. They're not like resetting or anything like that.
Yeah.
But what I spend them on is their sweepstakes. So you can buy tickets into their sweepstakes. They do every month. They do like a giveaway of like an Xbox Series X, a Surface tablet, a gaming PC, like all these kind of like hardware sweepstakes.
That's cool.
And, so at the end of every month, I go in there and I'm like, I'll buy 25 tickets.
You've been getting them just as part of the service you already use, so why not? Yeah, that makes sense.
It's like spend, it's like play this game in Game Pass, or like spend boot up a game each week. You know, like you just accumulate points from playing games. So it's I think it's the best one. I mean,
it's a scheme to get you to come back and spend more time on your Xbox.
Yeah,
but you're going to be spending time on your Xbox anyway, so it's not like it's a particularly insidious scheme.
No, it's not.
It's a scheme for a thing that we're already going to do.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I don't know what PlayStation Stars does. I got to look into that. Yeah. I keep forgetting to look into that. It might be similar. I don't know.
That's the kind of stuff that I would spend on like system UI themes. Do they still do those?
They don't on PlayStation.
Oh, that's a shame, because the PS3
they do on Xbox.
The PS3 had an insanely large library of custom themes, and I've used a custom theme on my PS3 for years. I haven't seen the default look of it for most of the time that I've owned it, because it was nice.
It's one of the biggest complaints of the PS5 UI is that there's no themes. They did do some themes.
Did Dante just knock something down?
No, he's sleeping.
I thought I heard something hit the ground.
Uh-oh. I don't know.
Okay, well,
I have noise canceling headphones on, so
you'll maybe have to go back and watch the footage and figure out what it was.
That is weird. I don't know. He's sleeping. He's right there.
Yeah. It was a ghost.
Hello? Nobody there. Maybe someone knocked at my door. That's always possible.
Maybe.
What was I saying? PlayStation and Stars.
Yeah, we were talking about themes, custom themes.
Themes, yes, yeah. So PlayStation's 30th anniversary just came by.
Yeah.
So they did a selection of themes for PlayStation 5. Each is designed around one of the old PlayStations.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like you have the PS2 theme, which changes the clicks.
Yeah, just like be the sounds from the
UI on the PS2. Same thing with PS3, PS4. Yeah, it's very cool. People complained that it was temporary, and now they're saying that they're working on bringing it back permanently. So
they should, because why the hell wouldn't they?
I don't understand why they would. It's just like do you remember when Nintendo did that Mario anniversary shit?
Yep.
And they're like,
Super
hey,
Mario
there's this
3D All Stars.
Yeah,
here's
they're like,
these 3 games, but you can only buy them until this date.
Yeah, and then they had Super Mario 35, which is an amazing game. And they're like,
it was only there for a few months.
Oh, I couldn't believe it. I'm like, so they have, for those that don't know, Nintendo has a series of games that are all kind of similar. They have Tetris 99.
Which is great. And still works.
Pac-Man 365, I think, was one. F-Zero 30.
F-Zero 99.
F-Zero 99. Yeah, and then there was Super Mario 35. And that was the best one. It was so fun. I played it for hours. It was so good. And then it disappeared. And I'm like, why would you do that? Like, what a stupid idea.
Putting all that work into a game and then just binning it. Like, if it was an online game and, like, it is an online game.
It is an online game.
But, I mean, if it was like an MMORPG and nobody was playing it anymore, I could see taking it offline. But
people were still playing it after the day it went away. People were still playing this,
and it's not like you need, super demanding infrastructure to sync up 35 people playing Super Mario Bros.
You do it with 99 people on Tetris and F-Zero, so...
Yeah.
I don't know.
So why not?
It's really, really dumb. So yeah, make sure you spend your points on Nintendo's eShop before it's too late. Next up. Team Fortress 2 modders rejoice as Valve releases the full client and server game code.
Oh.
Surprise! Valve just released a massive update to the Source SDK, adding all the Team Fortress client and server game code. Valve said the update lets players build entirely new games from its source code, and unlike Steam Workshop or local content mods, it gives modders access to change, extend, and even rewrite Team Fortress in pretty much any way imaginable.
That's great, because if you'll recall... Team Fortress Classic had a bunch of custom game modes for it.
Tons.
They were great. Well, some of them weren't so great, but some of them were awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. I loved was it like a one-shot sniper mode?
Mm-hmm.
Where it was on the was it the Fortress map? The one with the river in the middle with the bridge?
Yeah, 2-Fort.
2-4, yeah. And it was like one-shot sniper mode, and everyone was a sniper, so they were just sitting on both sides of the river,
exploding constantly. Because a sniper kill explodes you in Team Fortress.
Yeah, and just like you peeked out, and you were like, "Oh shit, is there anybody there?" And then it was so tense. It was awesome.
Yeah, and because you can see the laser sight on the walls, you'd be like waiting for the laser sight to go away, then try and pop out. But people would always do the thing where they would just have the laser sight trained. Like just somewhere where you
just slightly over to the right.
Yeah, and then they would bring it over, and you'd be like, "Oh fuck!" And then boom,
or not scope in for a second.
Yeah,
and then scope back in really quick.
Yeah,
you're like, "Hello."
Yep.
Yeah, I love that. Love that. The article continues again. These are all from IGN. Forgot to say that at the beginning. You won't be able to sell anything you make though, which makes any mods or spin-off content will have to be released for free on a non-commercial basis
for modders.
But creations can still be published on the Steam store, appearing as new games in the Steam game list. It continues on from there, but we'll probably see some crazy shit.
Yeah. I wonder if they'll bring back that grappling hook gameplay mode that somebody did for TFC.
Oh, I guarantee you, someone will do everything. There'll be a Thomas the Tank Engine mode. Yeah. Who knows?
Oh, we might fucking get what was it called? Hunted mode. Remember with the VIP?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. There was a little reference to that in the Meet the Sniper video, where the little bobblehead on the sniper's dashboard was the VIP from TFC.
Man, what a game.
Yeah. But they, as far as I know, they never brought that mode back.
I mean, I didn't play much of TF2.
I played a whole bunch of it. Right up, and then eventually I'd had my fill of it. That was right before they introduced hats, so that was a while ago.
Oh god, yeah, that was a long time ago. Yeah, I never got into TF2. I played it, but I just didn't feel the connection that I did with TFC. It might have something to do with the fact that I was really into Soldier of Fortune too. But.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. Marvel Rivals director and entire Seattle design team laid off.
Yes, which is crazy shit.
Weird, yeah. There's new details in this article, so I'm kind of curious as to what it's going to say here. NetEase tells fans not to worry about the game. Well, we're not really worried about the game.
Yeah, not worried about the game. I'm sure you're going to treat it well. I want to know that those people are treated well.
Exactly.
The ones who made the fucking game that's been killing it for you.
Yeah, exactly. The article reads, Marvel Rivals developer NetEase has confirmed cuts to its Seattle-based design team for, quote, organizational reasons, end quote.
Bullshit.
Overnight, Marvel Rivals game director Thaddeus Sasser, I think is how you say his name?
Sure.
Took to LinkedIn to announce that he and his team were laid off. Quote, this is such a weird industry. My stellar, talented team just helped deliver an incredibly successful new franchise in Marvel Rivals for NetEase Games, and we're just laid off.
Yeah.
Oh, well, times are tough all over. Let's find these incredible people new jobs because we all need to eat, right? End quote. The video game development community reacted with a mix of shock and anger to the cuts, given Marvel Rivals' explosive success. The free-to-play hero shooter has seen over 20 million downloads since launch in December and a huge peak concurrent player numbers on Steam. According to his LinkedIn profile, Assessor says his team is focused on game and level design work for Marvel Rivals. NetEase issued his IGN a statement confirming the layoffs, but failed to specify how many people were cut. Quote, we recently made the difficult decision to adjust Marvel Rivals development team structure for organizational reasons and to optimize development efficiency for the game. Typical corporate speak. Yep. This resulted in a reduction of a design team based in Seattle that is part of a larger global design function. This
resulted in the reduction of a design... Oh, fuck you guys.
Corporate bullshit.
Fuck you guys. You just wanted to fucking make a little bit more money on this game that's already making
how much more money could that possibly have made them? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, really? Like, come on. How much could you possibly have paid these people?
Yeah. Especially in the fucking game industry.
Yeah, were these multi-million-dollar people? I highly doubt it. That is a part of a larger global design function in support of Marvel Rivals. We appreciate the hard work and blah, 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 blah. But NetEase was keen to stress the layoffs. If you appreciated
the hard work, you wouldn't have fucking fired them.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I keep interrupting you, but it just makes me so fucking angry.
I'm reading through it. There's nothing good here. Yeah, the part I don't understand is that the game's doing great.
Yeah.
So why are we laying people off?
Yeah, you should be giving people fucking raises. They struck gold for you.
Yeah, if they were level designers, you telling me that you're not working on any more levels for Marvel Rivals?
Right.
Don't give me that shit, guys. Come on. Very odd. Very odd.
They're expanding the game. If you go on Steam, you'll see there's I guess some shit for Reed Richards and Sue Storm. You know, fucking Mr. Fantastic and the Invisible Woman.
Oh yeah, they're doing tons of.
So why are you getting rid of people when you're right at this very fucking moment making new stuff?
I'm surprised they're not being review bombed, but they're not.
Yeah.
Interesting. So hopefully those people land on their feet. Yeah. And fuck you, NetEase.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. This stuff was kind of cool. Shuhei Yoshida, who we talked about last week, who is he retiring? Is that what we were talking about?
I believe he was changing his role.
No, I think maybe he was leaving Sony.
We got to have notes upon what we spoke about on our last episode.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, he left Sony on January 15th after 31 years at PlayStation.
Okay.
I think we were talking about Holst last week and the new CEO.
Oh, yeah.
That might be what I'm thinking. But he had a huge interview. Shuhei Yoshida had a huge interview with who was it? GamesBeat, I think. Yeah, GamesBeat, I believe. Some interesting stuff came from this interview. So I have two different articles here. One's from IGN and one is from GamesBeat or VentureBeat.com. And we learned some interesting things about Shuhei and The Last of Us Online. The canceled Last of Us game.
Oh.
So let me bring up the VentureBeat one.
All right.
I'm just looking for the quote here real quick. Because I lost it because I'm an idiot. Here we go. Okay. So the article, this is the article. There's no quote here. This is the quote. This is a quote from the article, I will say.
Mm-hmm.
So it says, as the PlayStation succeeded, Yoshida climbed up the ranks, moving to the US and becoming a vice president of Sony Computer Entertainment. He became president of Sony Computer Entertainment Worldwide Studios in 2008 after Phil Harrison left to run Atari. Remember Phil Harrison? Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
In 2019, as Jim Ryan became the head of PlayStation Business, Shuhei Yoshida stepped down from that role and became head of PlayStation Indies in 2019. Of that move, he said he had no choice. It was taking that indie job or leave the company.
Huh.
In 2023, he received a BAFTA fellowship for his work in video games. So I don't... This kind of gives me more credence and evidence that something funky's been happening at Sony over the last 5 to 10 years, 5 to 6 years.
He had no choice. I kind of feel like a guy of that magnitude would have considerable choice.
Yeah, like why? Like what happened? Something happened. 2019 onward. There's been a huge shift at that company, and it's a little weird because like Shuhei Yoshida was like a staple. I mean, do you remember when the PS4 was revealed? Like he was hugely a part of that. He was in that video. Do you remember that funny video?
Here's how you share games with your friends.
Yeah. He was in that. He was in that video.
I remember that.
Oh, so good,
man. That was like a fucking. That was such a slam dunk. Like Microsoft just set them up to have an easy victory there.
That was the best E3 conference of all time. That was so good.
You just like Microsoft just basically handed them a loaded gun and said, "Here you go," and pointed it at themselves.
And PlayStation was like, "All right, just let them have it."
Yeah,
I've rewatched that conference over and over again just to hear the audience's reaction to
it's great.
The blatant bitch
the looks
slapping
on those guys' faces as they're just passing the game over.
Yeah, just like the look on Jack Trenton's face. Yeah, Jack Trenton's face when he's talking about we don't require always online, for stuff, which is kind of funny because that kind of ended up happening anyway.
Well, yeah.
Like he was pivotal in the first party studio stuff. In the PS3, PS4 generation, like, and then all of a sudden he gets devoted to the indies. Now, I mean, one could take it as a demotion or a side motion, but and then he's like, and then he just leaves a couple of years later, and he has specifically said he's not retiring.
Yeah, which is
so you not retiring tells me that you left there
because of
something's wrong.
Some kind of shenanigans.
Yeah, like you were not treated the way you should have been treated.
This is almost like if Shigeru Miyamoto just said, "Hey, I'm not retiring, but I'm leaving Nintendo."
That would be fucked up.
What?
Yeah.
What do you mean you're leaving Nintendo?
Yeah, and I'm joining Sony.
Well, I don't know if it's quite to that degree, but
no, that would be. So yeah, there's that part that was from VentureBeat, and then the other one from IGN. He said that he played it and he thought it was great. The article reads, Naughty Dog stopped development on The Last of Us Online in December 2023, saying it would have needed to put all its resources into post-launch content for years to come, an approach that would have severely impacted its ability to develop future single-player games.
Yeah.
Shuhei said, quote, "We realize many of you have been anticipating news around the project that we've been calling The Last of Us Online." Naughty Dog said that. There's no easy way to say this. We've made the incredibly difficult decision to stop development on that game. The multiplayer team has been in pre-production with this game since we were working on The Last of Us Part 2, crafting an experience we felt was unique and had tremendous potential. As the multiplayer team iterated on their concept for The Last of Us Online during this time, their vision crystallized, the gameplay got more refined and satisfying, and we were all enthusiastic about the direction in which we were headed. But in ramping up to full production, the massive scope of our ambition became clear. To release and support The Last of Us Online, we'd have to put all of our studio resources behind supporting post-launch content for years to come, severely impacting development on future single-player games. So we had two paths in front of us: become a solely live service game studio, or continue to focus on single-player narrative games that have defined Naughty Dog's heritage.
Yeah, and they made the right decision. Like as much as I will criticize Naughty Dog for, that was the right choice.
Yeah, but it's only the right choice because someone allowed it to be made. Let's be real, right? Like It was Sony could have been like, "No, you're doing this," but they didn't.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing. Shuhei went on to say, the idea for The Last of Us Online came from Naughty Dog, and they really wanted to make it. But Bungie explained to them what it takes to make live service games, and Naughty Dog realized, oops, we can't do that.
We don't want to end up on the Destiny path.
Yeah, if we do it, we can't make Intergalactic, so that was a lack of foresight on our part.
Yeah. But I mean, if they ever decide to make an online multiplayer component to a future game, I imagine there's a framework that they have to work from already now.
Yeah, and you know what's frustrating is that The Last of Us 1 had multiplayer.
Yes, it did.
And it was fucking fantastic.
Really?
It was great. Oh my god. I played that shit for like a year. It was excellent. Excellent. It was basically the single player experience, but like competitive. Like 2 teams of 3, I think it was. And because The Last of Us is not like a shooter, it's more of like a creep around stealth
game with shooting.
It was all about like creeping around, finding a good vantage point, and like just satisfying kills. Like it was just so
it's
good.
The same thing with MGS5.
It had multiplayer?
Oh yeah. Had multiplayer, absolutely. It had multiple types of multiplayer.
Oh shit, I didn't know that.
There was direct team versus team competition to like get in and like steal. Essentially the equivalent of a capture the flag mode with more steps and nuance to it. But basically sneak in, get stuff, get out. But then there was also home base invasions, because you know how you're building up mother base, right?
Yeah.
You could invade another player's mother base. You could steal resources.
Oh yes,
from
that's
them.
right.
And others could invade yours. And if you happen to be playing the game while there was an invasion going on, you could come back and defend.
That's right. I do remember that actually. Happened to me a couple times. Yeah, I think I just like that style better than like Call of Duty, where you respawn. So it's just a constant like run and gun.
Yeah, until one team runs out of spawns or whatever.
Yeah. I love the round based. Everyone has 1 life per round style of gameplay.
Yeah. Now I am not like that, but there are gameplay modes where that makes sense, and this is one of them.
Yeah, absolutely. I loved it.
It's like you know what else is like that? The multiplayer in Splinter Cell, where you have spies versus mercs.
Spies versus mercs, so good. Yeah, so good. Yeah, it's frustrating for me that they felt the need to go and do like a full game of Last of Us Online. I'm like, you guys didn't need to do that. Like everyone loved the Last of Us multiplayer. You could have just done a multiplayer mode in Last of Us 2 and people would have been like, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
But instead you went like all in, and like it was just a weird decision on their part. I don't know. Very weird. He did go on.
I always thought it was a strange decision that they were going to make it a spin-off game instead of just having Last of Us 2 multiplayer.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand if like they had 2 teams. You know, have one team work on Intergalactic, have the other team work on the multiplayer.
But they don't.
You know, so it's like you just wasted how many years of development time? It's crazy.
Well, again, like I said, if there is some kind of multiplayer component to Intergalactic, for example, I imagine they'll have like a
framework,
like a network infrastructure, or not a network infrastructure, but like a gameplay infrastructure, like a communications protocol for the game to trade player data on position and stuff. So. I mean, sometimes that's a decision that works out really well. Like, look at fucking Rockstar, who has spent the last decade just supporting GTA Online, and has made an absolute fuck ton amount of money. Like, they've made a ton of money from the sales of that game, because that game has sold like 200 million units. But then because you can buy in-game currency in GTA Online through their what they call shark cards. It's a whole there's a character in the game. You know what I'm talking about. They've just it's just an infinite money machine for them. They haven't had to make anything else. No. I know they're making GTA 6 after all this time.
Yeah.
But I don't think that would have been the right fit for Naughty Dog.
No, not at all. I'm surprised that they thought it was. Weird.
I'll be honest. I don't think it's the right fit for Bungie either, but that ship has already sailed.
No, I don't think it is either. Yoshida went on to say, "Oh, wait, so who was this
with?" This is a statement from Naughty Dog that you were reading, right?
No, the last quote was from Yoshida.
Oh, okay.
The first quote was from Naughty Dog about the game being canceled. I'm just trying to give proper props here. So Yoshida was interviewed by Sacred Symbols, which is Last Stand Media. Just give them their credit here. IGN's just like referencing that interview. But
in
Yoshida
the
said,
same way that we are.
Yeah, exactly. Yoshida said that as far as he is aware, no first-party PlayStation studio was forced to make a live service game. Rather, they saw an opportunity to successfully pitch a live service game, given Sony's video game strategy. He said, quote, "From my experience, when studios see the company has a big initiative, they realize riding on that gives them a better chance of getting a project approved and supported."
Yeah, if they're all hopped up on the idea of doing live services, then give them more of what they want.
Says he went on to say, it's not like Herman Hulst is telling teams they need to make live service games. It's likely a mutual agreement.
Yeah.
So, interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right.
I will be very interested to find out what the reason for him leaving is.
Yeah, I don't know if it'll ever come out. Japanese.
Yeah, they're pretty tight-lipped about that kind of stuff. But I mean, Sony, like, he was working at Sony Computer Entertainment America, so who knows? Yeah. Maybe somebody there knows, and maybe that will come out.
That's true. All right, only one left, and that is our Xbox Game Pass update for February 2025 Wave 2. Nothing huge here. 3 games coming to Game Pass. In fact, I think they're already out as of this recording. All of them except one. So EA Sports F1 24 is out on Game Pass, Ultimate PC Game Pass. Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader is out on Game Pass. All versions of Game Pass. And Watch Dogs Legion coming February 25th to all versions of Game Pass. And that's it. I will be giving Rogue Trader a try.
I don't even know what kind of game that is.
I believe it's a CRPG.
Oh, okay, cool.
But I'm not. I mean, they have so many different Warhammer games now that I can't keep track.
They have a ton of them.
But I'm pretty sure that's what that is. Yeah. Leaving Xbox Game Pass on February 28th are the following games: F122, Grease.
Yeah, that tracks.
Maneater. That's that shark game. Paw Patrol World, Space Engineers, Warhammer 40k Bolt Gun. So there's another 4. So they're swapping one for another, I guess.
I wasn't crazy about that game.
No, I remember playing it. Wolong Fallen Dynasty and Yakuza 3 and 4 Remastered are all leaving Game Pass. Yeah. So if you want to play them, run. You have a week.
Or just get them when they go on sale on Steam, which they seem to do like 3 or 4 times a year.
Yep. You can, if a game is in Game Pass and you want to actually purchase it, you can get a 20% off on any game in Game Pass.
Oh,
if you so choose to buy it. Yeah. So if a game is leaving Xbox Game Pass, you can take advantage of that 20% discount if you want to. Although I find that if you just wait, you'll probably get a bigger discount from like one of the sales if you're patient. But that is the news, ladies and gents. And we do not have a topic of the week, which means.
But I mean, we had plenty to talk about anyway, so it's fine.
We're almost at 2 hours.
Yeah.
Without a topic of the week, so it's pretty good.
Which is honestly a better place for us because I don't think people are interested in listening to 3 to 4 hour long shows.
I am.
Yeah.
I am. But yeah, it's time for Video Game 20 Questions. We are doing, once again, the co-op. The 20 Questions AI bot is on thin ice after last week.
Yeah, there were some technicalities in that one, but...
Yeah, but we will see how this goes. Let's start with what we always start with.
Of course.
That's the date. Did this game release on or after January 1st, 2000? Yes, it did.
Okay.
So 2010?
2010, yeah.
No, another 2000s game. Oh, great.
Yeah.
Okay. Do our platform exclusive question?
Sure.
Was this game originally exclusive to one platform? No. Okay, so we have a multi-platform game from the 2000s. So should we start with, was this game available on PS2 as a good starting point?
Well, the thing is, the answer to that question will almost certainly be yes, because
I mean, it
just
could be
about
PS3. It's a 2000s game because PS3 came out in.
Yeah. Okay. It could be.
Could be. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out like which gen it was. But if we start with PS3 gen, it still could have came out previous to that. You know what I'm saying? Like it could have been ported. So if we start lower and go higher, I think it'll be easier to narrow down the original.
Okay. Yeah.
Release.
Let's ask if it was on PS2.
Because that's like the one with the biggest library.
Yeah.
So I figured that's probably the best place to start. Was this game available on PlayStation 2? No.
Oh.
Wow.
Okay. Good call. Then that means it must have come out later.
Okay, let's try that same question with PS3 then.
Yeah.
Was this game, or should we 360? 360 had a bigger library, I think.
Yeah, let's say 360.
Okay. Oh no, it's not.
Oh no.
Okay, hold on. So it's multi-platform, but it's not on 360 or PS2.
Huh.
That's going to be a problem. Oh, could be handheld.
Could be handheld.
Oh, you know what? It might be like something in PC.
That's uncommon though. At least back then it was. Like, I mean, Street Fighter V was exclusive to the PS4, but it was also on PC. What they mean by exclusive to PS4 is that it wasn't on Xbox.
Yeah. I mean, it could be a late PlayStation 1 game.
Oh, man. Yeah, maybe. Just go for it. Go for it.
No. Shit.
Yeah. Okay.
Uh-oh. So it wasn't on PS1, 2, or 3.
No, it could have been on PS3. We know that it wasn't on 360.
Oh, yeah.
Let's ask.
But I mean like PS3 and what? If it's multi-platform.
Let's ask if it was on PS3. Let's get that calibration done.
No, it wasn't.
It's got to be a handheld game then. Ask if it was on a handheld platform.
No. Oh no.
What the fuck? Mobile?
2000s? I mean, I guess.
Late 2000s.
Oh, what about Dreamcast?
Well. How many questions in are we?
8.
And are we really going to burn one on the Dreamcast?
I mean, we can take a hint and get the does it do platform?
I think it does.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, we could take a
burn. We'll save that for 10, for number 10.
Oh, that's only one away.
Yeah.
Well, why don't we ask a different question then, instead of burning one for something we're going to get anyway? Let's say, was this developed in Japan? That's a go-to.
Yeah.
No. Oh no.
Yeah. Okay. Let's get that.
Let's get the platform. Oh, not this shit again. Xbox One, PS5, Xbox Series, PlayStation 4, and PC.
Oh god.
So what was the trick last time with this? What was the game last time? Was it?
You're the one who has the notes.
Yeah, let me. I don't think that's cheating. Getting what the last game was. The last game was Sonic Frontiers. So why? So we were lied to last time with the date.
Yeah, and we're being lied to with the date this time.
Why is it doing that all of a sudden?
I don't know.
This is how I wrote it. Did this game release on or after January 1st, 2010? And the answer is no.
Yeah, it's straight up lied to us.
That's such a problem.
Yeah, because now my brain is I have to adjust it to a completely different mindset.
Yeah, I mean, why did it just the thing that it doesn't like I don't understand. Oh wait, hold on. I don't know. Something's fishy because it says yes to 2000.
Yeah, it gets one calendar date correct,
but not the other one.
But yeah, how the fuck?
Unless it's just a glitch in the AI that suddenly happened because it didn't happen before. So I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, so Xbox One, PS5, Xbox Series, PlayStation 4, PC. So that means it's probably an Xbox One, PS4. Well, that doesn't mean anything. There's so many cross-gen games, but it's not developed in Japan.
As far as we know, it could be lying to us about that as well.
Yeah. It didn't last week, though.
Ballistic, by the way.
I know. I have no idea why he's doing it. Buddy, what's your problem? No. Come here. Come here. Come here. Fine, I'm coming to get you then. Here
I come. Can't be Elden Ring. Because that's a Japanese game, unless it's lying to us about that. Maybe an Assassin's Creed game? Those came out for damn near everything.
They did.
Do we want to try and... I feel like at a certain... Now that we know that we've been so thoroughly lied to, we have to compensate by getting more hints.
I would agree with that.
Because, like, we've basically burned a whole bunch of questions
when we didn't
on
need
misinformation.
Yeah. Why don't we... Developer seems to be the big one.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not going to help me. Dam Buster Studios?
Dam Busters?
Dam Buster. Dam Buster Studios. Don't know who they are. That's not good. Dam Buster.
Is there a way to figure out who the publisher is?
Yeah. Yeah, we can get a hint from the publisher. Sure.
Let's figure out the publisher.
Oh, Deep Silver.
Oh, God, they publish so much.
Damn Buster.
Oh, no.
But it is on the consoles.
But it sounds like it's an indie game.
We could ask it.
Yeah, but I mean, well, if you I mean,
we only have one hint left. We can go get genre.
How is it going to interpret us asking about if it's an indie game though? Like if it's got a publisher, then it's not really indie, is it?
I mean, every indie game has a publisher though.
Yeah, but then so what does indie even mean? Does it just mean made by a small team or it looks retro? Like how is it going to interpret the definition of indie? Like what is its definition of indie going to be? And is it going to be one that we share?
All right, I think we should use our last hint and get genre.
Yeah.
It's the only thing I can think of to help us narrow it down. Action RPG.
Oh, we're so fucked.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna get this one.
Because I have no idea. I have absolutely no idea.
There's so many. The problem is man, I'm gonna ask it is this is gonna sound weird, but the only action RPG I can immediately think of that's not like the obvious ones is a game called Brutal. The question that I would ask it is the game, I don't even know if it would know this, but the game is monochrome. It's in black and white. I would assume it would know that from the description of a game. There's not very many games are monochrome.
Yeah.
It said no. It's not brutal. Assuming it's right.
God, I have absolutely no idea. I've never heard of this developer.
Do they make Torchlight?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Oh, here's a good question. Is this part of a series? It is. It could be Torchlight.
How many questions in are we?
15.
We're so fucked.
I'm going to ask it if it's part of the Torchlight series.
Go for it.
No. Fuck.
Can you imagine if you'd gotten that?
I'm just trying to think of action RPGs that I don't know who the developer is. That's what I'm trying to think of.
Yeah, that's a really bad way of doing this.
I mean, I don't know how else to narrow it down at this point, because
that's the problem, is that I can't really argue on that because I don't have any better ideas.
Because like the developer's not helping me,
and the publisher it published so many. Deep Silver published a Stalker game at one point. They published one of them. So
it is part. It is a series, though.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. That might give us a good clue. An action RPG series. Let's think. Besides Diablo and Torchlight, Gauntlet. Did they publish a Gauntlet game?
I don't think there's been a Gauntlet game since like 2014.
Yeah. Well, we don't know when it came out, to be fair.
That's true.
So
but
it could be
Gauntlet
Gauntlet
Slayer.
Slayer.
That Gauntlet game isn't on the Xbox Series and PS5.
Yeah, but you can play PS4 and Xbox.
But does that count it as being on those systems, or does there have to be a native version?
If it's on the store, it might. I don't know.
Fuck.
I don't know. Okay, let's think of other potential action RPGs.
Potential action RPG franchises.
Yeah, franchises. Yeah.
There's so many of them because like everything is an action RPG now. Everything has a skill tree.
I wonder if Darksiders. It might be. No, THQ Nordic, I think, did Darksiders 3. I have a feeling I'm going to know this game.
I have a feeling I'm going to have no fucking idea. This is going to be like... This is going to be some mobile-ass sounding game like Glory of Conquest or Conquest of Glory.
I'm gonna grab the release year because it's going to let us get the release year now. Oh, 2023. Okay, come on. We can get this. Come on.
There's so much that came out that year.
Come on. An action RPG from 2023. Come on. We got this shit. We got this. An action RPG series.
That had a new entry in 2023.
That had a new entry in 2023. Come on. We got this shit.
Out of the 10 million games that came out that year.
I wonder if V Rising was a Deep Silver published game.
I mean, it might be.
The more I think about the name Dam Buster Studios, the more it sounds familiar to me. But I don't know if that's just because I'm repeating it over and over in my head, or if I've actually heard about it before. I think I have. Yeah, let me ask it.
Dam Busters. I stole that joke from AVGN. That's from the Action 52 episode. The look on your face. The grim resignation.
No. Action RPG. Action RPG.
Can we I mean, maybe some kind of perspective question, like is this game from a top-down perspective or something like that? Because then at least we'd know, because if we're dealing with like a Diablo-like, which seems to be your line of thinking.
Yeah. Is this game played from an isometric view? No.
No.
Shit. So that means it's probably third person.
Or
like a third person. I mean, first-person action RPGs.
They exist.
Wait, did Dambuster do? No, that's Crytek. Or is Crytek the engine?
Well,
Is Crytek a studio?
What game are you thinking of?
Crysis, but it's not Crysis. But like, I think that's
Yeah, Crytek is the studio. CryEngine is their tech.
CryEngine.
I can see why you're confused. They like to stick the word "cry" on a lot of stuff.
It's not a good, yeah.
Oh, this is hard. I can't contribute anything to this because I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, Deep Silver is such a problem. They're such a huge company.
Yeah.
It's a series, though.
It's probably going to be some like Eastern European game that we've never heard of before.
No, I know I've heard Dambuster Studios before. There's something tickling in the back of my head. Okay, can you name games off that came out in 2023? Just name them. Rapid fire.
Baldur's Gate 3.
Okay.
Resident Evil 4 remake.
Okay.
Did Final Fantasy VII Reunion come out in 2023? Or was that in 2024?
Reunion? Is that the Crisis Core one?
No, the latest one.
Oh, Rebirth.
Rebirth. Fucking
yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Dying Light 2 came out. Did it come out in 2023?
I don't remember.
But that wasn't Deep Silver. That was who made Dying Light? Was it Dying Light?
I don't know.
Who the hell made Dying Light? I should know this.
Yeah, you love the game so much.
Who the hell made Dying Light? I should know this. It's like one of my favorite games.
It's not going to be Dying Light, though.
No. Well, I mean, maybe it's I don't know what you would call Dying Light. It's a first person.
It's a lot of things.
It's a lot of things, yeah. You do level up and everything. You could call it an action RPG because it's not a shooter.
No.
I don't think there's any guns in that game. But I don't remember who makes it. Deep Silver owned Dead Island, not Dying Light. Dying Light is the team that made the original Dead Island, and they spun off to their own company. But I don't remember what company they were called. Well, let's ask if it was first person.
Yeah. Sure.
Because I don't know what else to do.
We can't just waffle on all night.
No, played in first person view. No, it's not in first person view. Unless like I said, unless we've been screwed again, which is more than possible. I feel like at this point.
Ask if it has multiplayer.
I can't. That was our last question.
That was great. Now we're really fucked.
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't even know. I can't even think of a funny game to ask it.
I mean, like I said, I've died in the Light too, but I don't think that's it. Well, I can't be. It's not first person.
Unless it's lying to us. Unless it's lying to us.
I mean, it said no to the isometric view too, so maybe it just doesn't understand.
Yeah.
What that means. Damn Buster Studios. Yeah, I'm not gonna.
Can you conjure up like a logo in your mind for this developer or anything like that? Anything that might jog your memory?
I mean, what I'm picturing in my head, I don't know if it's real, but I'm picturing like a cartoon gray dam with like a big blue wave over it. But I don't know if that's like something I'm just picturing or if it's a real thing that actually
I don't
exists.
know. It doesn't jog anything in me. I think we
No.
might just have to just
Concede.
come up with a stupid answer.
We can't even think of an action RPG series. That's the problem. How can we not think of an action RPG series? This is sad.
Well, I can think of plenty. It's just that none of them fit the criteria.
Like what?
Well, I said Elden Ring, Dark Souls.
Yeah, no.
It's obviously not going to be that.
Yeah, those are Japanese.
Yeah.
Mm.
Ask if it's Just Dance 2023.
Sure.
I just want to know what it is.
Guess what? It's not Just Dance 2023.
Oh, what a shame.
Oh my fucking god.
What?
Okay, well, it definitely lied to us. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the last time we will be doing AI bot.
This is the decider, huh?
This is it's full of bullshit. So it is first person. It definitely came out after, as we know, 2010. And I mentioned the series in our discussion.
Oh God.
It's Dead Island 2.
Yeah, so that's the end of that.
Yeah, no,
we were completely lied to.
Yeah, that's complete and utter bullshit. So why is it telling me that it is not a first person? I mean, it just must not understand that. I mean, it says in its release April 21st, 2023. So how it got that wrong, I have no fucking idea.
God,
It even says in the summary it's a first person action RPG.
Jesus Christ.
Your AI bot needs work, bros. Well, I'm not counting that as a loss. Because we got boned.
Yeah, the logo for Dam Buster Studios, by the way, is a shark.
Oh, okay. So I didn't.
It looks like the kind of shark you would paint on the nose of a fighter jet.
It looks like Game Shark almost. What games have they made besides Dead Island 2? Oh, they made Chorus. Wow. And Homefront: The Revolution.
Yeah, I was about to say.
How they survived that game.
Yeah.
That game sold like shit. Chorus is a great game, though. I would highly recommend anybody out there if you like space games like Freelancer or Starlancer or any sort of third person space
you
shooter.
Weren't off the mark when you talked about Crytek though, because they're spun off from Crytek UK, which before that was Free Radical.
Oh,
Time Splitters people.
Oh, interesting. That's funny. So I was beating around the bush.
Yeah, you were in the right neighborhood, but
I just couldn't nail the. I mean, when you give me information like it's not a first person game,
yeah, throw me off. By the way, guess who they're part of? Are you going to guess Embracer Group? Because you'd be correct.
They're part of Embracer?
Yep, oh. Because Embracer owns Deep Silver.
Ooh. Yikes.
Well, Embracer owns the company that owns Deep Silver, which owns Dam Buster.
Well, I mean, at least we've proven that they don't have all bad games at Embracer. Because Chorus is great. Like, highly underrated game. That game needs more attention. It's so good. Definitely recommend people pick that game up. It's really, really good. Well, for those of you who enjoyed the co-op.
Yeah, I guess that's coming to an end.
Yep. So should we flip a coin to see who guesses next week?
Well, who was the last person to bring in a game and the last person to guess? I guess we just continue off from there.
The last pick was Area 51, which was your pick that I tried to guess and I lost.
Okay, so well, I guess you pick the game next week.
I am the picker next week.
All right.
You're the guesser. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you know what to look forward to next week. All right. Well, that's a shame.
Yeah.
Thanks, IGN. You had us for five 4 perfect runs in a row, and then you got shaky, and then you just fucked it up.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened there. Maybe we'll return one day and see if you've improved it, but for now, not perfect. Yeah. Not perfect, bros.
It doesn't even need to be perfect. It just needs to not outright fucking lie to us.
Yeah. That was a straight up lie.
Yeah.
2 lies. 2 straight up lies. I wish I could like find someone to talk to and be like, bro.
Yeah, fix this shit. Come on.
Could you tell me why this happened? And figure it out? Because like I really like it. All right, this has been Press Pause, a gaming podcast, episode 33. If you want to reach me on BlueSky, I am at TJ-Leo.
And I am at Ninjas on the same service.
And if you want to email in your questions to be featured on the show, please do so at co.op.podcast@gmail.com, or you can write me on BlueSky. You can do that. And don't forget to comment, like, share, subscribe, click the bell. Ding! You can click up here to subscribe. You can click down here to check out the latest episode, the last episode of Press Pause, a gaming podcast. Also, before we go, I redid our playlists on the YouTube channel, so things are a little bit more organized. You can check out all the different things that we do. So check that out as well. And we out.
Yeah, and I made it through this entire episode without saying I might or might not be naked.
Until now. Now, get back to gaming, everybody.